No, but seriously, I swear to God, if this episode doesn't work out, this podcast will no longer exist.
We've been trying. We have really
Welcome
been
back to
trying.
Currently Irrelevant, podcast that comes out so infrequently. It pretty much is irrelevant if it wasn't already, which it was. You'll notice that by looking at this, we're doing a double feature because you've also maybe noticed, if you're a regular listener, that there was a 2-week gap with episodes. We recorded last week, we recorded the week before that. And that was a great episode. I loved that episode.
Absolutely.
It was so good. 55 minutes of just solid content. And then the file corrupted and I didn't have a backup because my hard drive was my backup. So that's gone. And then we didn't record last week because we're both busy people.
Yeah.
And we didn't have the opportunity to, and it wouldn't have been a good episode. So we're aiming for like an hour and a half of content this week that you can enjoy in place of the past 2 episodes that didn't happen. How are you, CJ?
I'm alright. It's been a week and a half of chaos, but other than that, I'm doing absolutely brilliant.
I don't know if waking up early is worth $40, which is in reference to my yard work I do for my grandmother.
Yeah.
I woke up at 8:30, which to some people isn't early, like my girlfriend Drowsy, who thinks that waking up at 6:30 is a reasonable time to be up in the morning. What is wrong with you? But then again, she goes to bed at like 10 every night. So that's
I don't know
okay.
how people do that.
Oh, she doesn't have a choice.
Well, yeah, but I mean...
Yeah. I don't get it either. Let's see. What have you been up to the past 2 weeks? And what is it that made you so eager to get over here today?
Basically job chaos. So Lowe's didn't work out.
No.
So I turned around and got hired at Jersey Mike's, and I've also been working on getting a weekend job at another place, and through it all I've had to fill out countless pieces of paperwork. I had to go take a drug test, which was funny because,
Did you get drug tested by Jersey Mike?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say, imagine drug testing a Jersey Mike employee.
Oh
Imagine
my
working
goodness.
at Jersey. Why did you pick Jersey Mike's? Because they were hiring?
Because they're hiring.
Everyone's hiring, though.
Yeah. But I also was, I don't know, man. I was just,
Jersey Mike's.
got
Is that the
tired of
one by
searching.
Starbucks?
yeah,
So,
right across from where you're at.
yeah, right. So you didn't want to work in Starbucks because of the food service part of it and the interaction, and then you get a weekend job at Jersey Mike's.
Right, because I at least eat the food there.
What?
Because I at least eat the food there.
You eat from Jersey Mike's?
Yes.
Okay.
It's better than Starbucks.
I don't think that's a fair comparison.
It's absolutely a fair comparison.
Absolutely not. We're a coffee shop. That's a sub place. On its own merits, compared to other sub places in town, it's terrible.
What other sub places in town are you considering?
Penn Station, Firehouse Subs.
Okay, which ones that don't operate out of gas stations?
Penn Station and Firehouse Subs don't operate out of gas stations.
I'm pretty sure that I've seen them out of gas
Absolutely
stations.
not. Firehouse Subs is its own location on Illinois, and Penn Station has multiple locations in town.
Okay, well, here's the first thing. I'm not driving over to Illinois Road.
Well, but they're still
every day.
better.
That doesn't...
No, we're not considering the
I was-
drive. We're not considering transit. We're considering quality of food.
Why are we not considering transit if
We're
working?
considering quality of food. I'm not talking about you working there. I'm talking about the fact that you eat there.
I'm not driving to Illinois Road for food either.
That we're not talking about transit. I get
Why
it.
are we not talking about transit?
Because we're just talking about quality of food.
Quality food alone does not necessarily make that place superior or inferior to
Yes,
others.
it does. If we're talking about the quality of food,
When
which we're talking about that because you said I eat the food there.
Right, because it's close nearby, and I don't have to drive to Illinois Road to
So
get
you
to
don't
it.
care about food quality. That's what I'm hearing.
Right.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
All right.
Should have
Sorry,
started
Jersey
with that.
Mike's.
Anyway,
Oh boy, what have I been up to? Taking my speech class this summer, and that is going Yeah, that's going. Working on a group project. I have to say, I've been awfully impressed with this group that I have for this project. It's two other people. On the first day our groups were announced, we set up a Zoom meeting. All of us got in contact and we set up a Zoom meeting via email immediately.
Right.
That's amazing to me because of how hard it is to organize group projects, even when you're all in the same fucking classroom.
That's fair. You know, for me, going through school, and this just continued into the university, when it comes to group projects, I find it's much less collaboration, more of I do everything, put everyone's name on it, and we all call it a day.
You got mad when someone else put in more effort. So I don't
Yes.
think you get to complain.
I'm not complaining. I'm just explaining what it usually is for me, which is why I was upset when the person put in more effort than I did because that was wrong. But
I don't know. I don't know if that's true. Oh, I got sent to Snapchat. Who? I didn't even. Let's play this and see if it's something that I'll have to cut out of the podcast.
all right,
It's good. Let me know how it tastes. Let me see.
Oh, this is in reference to. I don't know if you even heard that.
I did.
She sent me a Snapchat in reference to a picture that I sent her. We're talking about another friend of mine, where I had my blueberry acai face scrub that I use for cleaning my face. And at Starbucks, there's a drink called the strawberry acai refresher. So I sent a picture of it, and I just said blueberry acai refresher time. And she told me to tell her how it tastes. So I guess I'm doing this now.
I'm so sorry.
Yep. So yeah, that's what that was about. Riveting stuff, Alex. Thanks for sharing. Anyways, if anybody cares how I'm doing, the image you see here underneath the number 8 and number 9 is basically how I feel lately with my mental state. I recently started therapy, which is going yet again, just going, which is fine, you know. I've had bad experiences with therapy in the past, but I think this time around it might turn out better. I'm hoping, because, you know, I actually picked this person. This was my selection, not my parents' selection, and not on the grounds that they're getting divorced and they think that's traumatizing me. If anything, being told that I need to go to therapy and pick who I want to live with was traumatizing, guys. So maybe don't do that to somebody. Jesus fucking Christ. Another thing that has been on my mind that I wanted to yell about, not really yell, but I wanted to say something about. I was told that my mental illness made it inconvenient for people to talk to me. The fucking audacity. But I get it, right? Like, obviously, it's not easy to talk to someone when they're mentally ill and you can't tell how they're feeling about what you're saying, how they're reacting, if you think they're upset, if you think they're, like, overthinking it or anxious about what you're saying or taking offense to it. Don't tell me that it's inconvenient for you that I'm mentally ill. It's inconvenient for me that I have to think about that I have to live that life, that now I'm thinking about you in the context of, oh shit, how do they think I feel about what they're saying? Do I have to explain that I'm not upset with them? I'm just numb? Do I have to explain that to you? Is that something I have to say now? Because I thought we already went over that. Don't, okay? If a mentally ill person is like, you can't get a read on them, don't tell them that you're inconvenienced by their mental illness because they don't necessarily choose how they feel. Okay? Are we all on the same page? Thank you.
That was highly aggressive for what it's worth, but yeah.
No, it's necessary. It needs to be said. Clearly it needs to be said.
Oh boy. Alright, what else have we got going on?
2 weeks of Pinterest, because if you remember in the did we actually make it into...
No.
No, that never made it in.
No, that was part of the episode.
Okay,
that
so
got
the episode
corrupted.
that got corrupted, I talked about how I started a Pinterest board as an experiment called Pod Chaos, and it's just a bunch of memes and stuff that I find funny that I started saving, and then I went to the recommendations, and I started saving more, and now there are 60 pins on here that we can go through and find unfunny together.
I tried to stop this, guys.
You didn't.
Yes, I
No,
did.
you didn't. No, you didn't. Anyways, we're off to a good start with this one. Well, I'm gonna show that now.
Good call.
Tabasco. Early stages of the COVID-19 vaccine being developed.
Oh dear.
I think this might be what people think is in the vaccine, based on some people's reactions to it.
Oh.
Like, Obama sent the immigrants to put Tabasco in my children.
Okay, next.
My pronouns are none. Please do not refer to me. Even better, do not perceive me. For practical purposes, I don't exist. I relate to this one on a personal level because I'd just rather if you didn't acknowledge me.
Also,
Yeah.
makes you want to go into one of those, like, university Zoom meetings where they have you list your pronouns. None, non-existent, nothing, just to see the reaction.
Yeah.
But,
This is what I do if you perceive me. I call the police. Do you not understand it?
No.
It's Michael Jackson.
who? Okay,
My-
I know the name. I don't know anything.
You don't know who Michael Jackson is?
No, I know the name and I know.
Jesus
his-
Christ, you don't. All right. All right. Usually I get annoyed with people who say, that they, that how can you not know somebody, or how have you not seen this? I get annoyed with those people, right?
Right.
It's like not everybody has the same experience or grows up with the same things or experiences the same culture. Michael Jackson is an icon, is ingrained in our culture. The fact that you don't know about him at all,
No,
the
I
fact that you
know the
don't-
name. He came up in band, but I haven't listened to any of his works.
the fact that even on on a lawyer aspect, there were lawsuits surrounding this guy and his actions. He was the king of pop, but he also touched children. And so the fact that you don't know the court cases surrounding this guy, like you haven't dug into any of that, you haven't even known about it, that blows my mind that you are not aware of Michael Jackson. You know the name, and most people do know the name, but most people at least know a little more context about it. He wrote Thriller. He wrote Smooth Criminal. Neither of those?
Was Thriller one of the ones they played back in like the elementary school?
Probably. The one that's like the song about like the zombie apocalypse.
No.
Smooth Criminal. Come on, you've heard these songs. I'm gonna play it. Okay.
If you
no,
pull the lyrics, I might recognize.
no,
it. We'll
no. See, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna pause the recording and we're gonna listen to these real quick.
All right. I just don't get why you're surprised.
I
I
look.
don't listen to pop.
But you are familiar with many aspects of pop culture, regardless of whether or not you acknowledge that.
Yes, but I have not heard any of this before.
Look. So he recognized Thriller, which naturally that's just Michael Jackson's most famous song, arguably, and it was played a lot, like at the Rat Lock-In or something like that. I don't know if
Elementary
you
school
did. You ever go to
setting.
the Rat Lock-In?
2 years, not
Oh
seventh
yeah.
grade.
Oh yeah. So I saw you. I went all 3 years, I think. So I saw you 6th, and then 8th. Yeah. So if Rat Lock-In was just this thing where you'd come back to the
school.
it was middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd come back to the middle. I thought you said elementary.
No,
You'd come back to
elementary.
the middle school, and you'd stay there like overnight, and you'd stay up all night till like 6 a.m. and then you'd go home and sleep off the day. And it would be like on a Friday night, like once a year during middle school, and it was a lot of fun. Like there were inflatable obstacle courses, a movie room, like concessions and such. Very,
They
very.
got rid of it.
Yeah, did they?
Yeah, they did. Well, it now only goes till midnight.
Well, huh. Well, I get why they'd cancel it like last year or stuff like that, like the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
But like when did this happen?
When Mr. Miller left. So basically,
Mr. Miller was the only thing leaving any spirit in that building, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Miller was the old principal. Every time I saw him in high school, I got excited. He didn't
Right.
recognize me. He didn't know who I was, but I enjoyed talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Well, the way he did announcements and like end of day dismissal as well, that was.
Yeah, he just like even as like a kid where you're like, ugh, I don't like things that are fun, or like you're kind of that kind of kid, you had to enjoy it. Like it
Oh,
would
yeah.
bring you up a little bit, and you'd be like, oh, but Mr. Miller, he's cool.
Oh yeah.
Even as like an edgy eighth grader, which I was.
No, Mr. Miller left, Mr. Hornberger left, whole bunch of teachers. So, well, one retired, the other one went to the high
Shame.
school. Oh yeah, no, it's definitely different now.
A weapon to surpass Metal Gear. I wonder how practical that would be. Like, would it work?
For like drinking or
No, for spraying.
I mean,
I think it would spray, right?
I think the problem you're going to end up running into is there's no real seal to keep.
Well, I mean,
Pressure.
that's how the straw works in an actual Capri Sun, though. It punches through, but it still has the rest of the plastic to seal around it.
Right, but there's a lot of suction. I'm not sure if there'd be sufficient suction, at least with that length.
You just have to, you'd have to keep it going.
I don't think it'd work.
Like, you know how you have to, like, pump a water
Yeah,
gun
yeah,
sometimes?
yeah.
Yeah. I don't need love, I need to go back to sleep. Yeah. Not funny, didn't laugh, live, or love. So if you got that sign in your house, stop it, Karen. Ratatouille has had enough of your bullshit. You ratted your last Chewie. There are no animals in this exhibit.
Howard the Duck.
Oh no. Don't talk about him. We don't talk about Howard the Duck. Enslaved Road. I can't remember the last time I wasn't tired. Some of these are cries for help.
Yeah, I picked up on that.
Never get a pet cabbage. It will sell your hands to the time snake. So, a warning for you guys that are thinking about getting a pet cabbage. Don't. Princess Peach is going to delete your kneecaps. I guess. I wouldn't think too much about it. Charlotte. Do you like Charlotte? Do you think Charlotte's a good friend? Did Charlotte come to your birthday party?
I didn't have a birthday party.
So that's a no. This is basically my approach to math. Sorry, your answer is not correct. The correct answer is 1,018,000.
No.
Your answer sucked my ween. Jose. Dogs aren't real and you've never seen one. Did you see Raven when you came in?
So when I came in, I saw 3, maybe 4 dogs when I was walking at the track.
Flightless bird my ass, this motherfucker fly as hell. This one's one of my favorites. Missed call. Coward. I tell people I'm socially awkward, but the truth is I'm privately awkward. I am. I'm very awkward in
Yeah.
general. I go to bed and I'm sitting there thinking like, so, what do I
How many
think
of these
about
pictures are of named insects?
Edward and stuff? Don't worry about that. Peace was never an option. Okay.
Negotiations have finished. There's no way we're coming to an agreement.
Send me a screenshot of that.
You want me to?
Yeah, I'll put it
Alright.
up. Cursed food images that'll destroy your appetite. This is how we boil carrots. Just like Mama used to make.
Be cool if I just cut it down to.
I mean, I can crop it, but you can do that too if you want.
Yeah, if you can just take out the top.
Cheeseburger. Apparently that's an account. Cheeseburger with a Z. Remember when that was a meme? Like the cat that was like, "Can I has cheeseburger?"
No.
You don't remember "Can I has cheeseburger"?
Dude, why would I?
That's fair. It was like, it's such an old meme, and people are still trying to write off of that. Cheeseburger.com.
Alright, yeah, I'm gonna send it to you. Just crop it.
There's a website called cheeseburger.com.
While you have that open, do me a favor and pull up the No Man's Sky Prisms update.
No Man's Sky Prisms update.
I'm still upset about that.
So this is essentially what the meme is. That's it. That's the entire thing.
That's it?
That's it.
All right.
That's the whole meme. And that blew the fucking internet up.
I'm not surprised.
Right. And you said you wanted me to pull up the No Man's Sky Prison update?
Yeah, I want to rip into that a little bit.
Okay. We'll get back to Pinterest at some point. We'll sprinkle it in there. No Man's Sky Prism update. Prisms update. No Man's Sky. Do you want me to look at the latest patch notes?
Sure, yeah. Let's just go. We'll go through this, and I'll rip in on what they say, and then I'll go ahead and just give my own experience. But
Dramatically refreshes the No Man's Sky experience with a range of new visual features and technologies. The universe has never looked better with reflections, new texture effects, more biome detail, improved lighting, and a vastly reduced amount of people who can run the game.
exactly. All right. So for those of you who don't know what this is, and among the gaming community, it's infamous. So I'm sure you do know what it is if you're part of that. But No Man's Sky is a space-based free world exploration game.
It does look good.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it does in their video. And No Man's Sky is produced by Hello Games. Hello Games' big issue being that they didn't put enough into the game, which
They sold out to Sony and didn't have time to put anything into the game.
exactly, it's not necessarily on them.
There's a really good
But-
video
Yeah,
by internet historian called The End Goodening of No Man's Sky. That's worth looking into if you want like a 50-minute in-depth analysis.
yeah. Basically, to summarize all that, again, they sold out to Sony. Sony
Keep
made them rush production, and because of that, when the game came out, it was one of the biggest letdowns, one of the worst launches in gaming history. Ton of refunds. Part of the problem is that the game is obviously graphics intensive, as it stood before this update.
Wait, even that's lagging.
Oh yeah, and well, again, their video, at least it looks clear. The problem is, so both myself and one of my friends tried to run it, and when they tried to run it, what ended up happening, they loaded an old file, and it's completely crapped your old files.
Really?
Oh yeah, like all the paint on the ships looks like circuitry. It looks
Oh,
like
no.
code, and it looks like actual code.
Uh-oh.
And that goes for the multi-tool, the ship, the animals, everything was basically the file's corrupted. I loaded mine. I started a new game because I figured mine was probably toast as well.
Right.
And my computer, which has a bit stronger of a graphics card, I can't remember it off the top of my head. I'm running off of an Alienware
It's
laptop.
gotta be like a GeForce 2060.
Oh yeah, it's up there. It's a decent graphics card, and the color. I didn't see any like code leaking through. I didn't see any of the circuitry glitches or anything like that. The problem was, anytime you focused in on anything, it looked like alpha testing level graphics. The detail was gone. Everything was saturated, blurry.
Yeah, I remember you sending me a message on Discord that said, "I am going to tear No Man's Sky apart."
Yeah, no, and this is the issue. The problem that they're running into is that they're all game developers. They're trying to make it there was almost, I don't think there was anybody playing No Man's Sky who thought, I feel like the graphics could be better in this game.
It looked good.
It looked absolutely beautiful. But the problem was people stopped playing it because of the fact that the content ran out.
Right.
The main storyline was kind of lackluster, and
So the fact that they refreshed the visuals really didn't make anybody fall back in love with it, especially
Right.
with performance like this.
oh yeah, absolutely.
I want to
And-
mention that Optifine for Minecraft has better looking volumetric lighting than what this is.
Yeah.
No offense, but offense intended.
Oh yeah. Well, and then you turn around, and again, their big issue is no one paid attention to the warp graphics.
No,
anyway.
it's just a loading screen.
Exactly.
It's a loading screen.
It is absolutely
Look at that
loading screen.
lag.
Uh-huh.
Is that a my end or is that the actual video?
I'm pretty sure that would be the actual video. You know how their stuff.
Deep
goes.
learning super sampling. RTX 2060 Super, RTX high setting balanced RTX 2060 Super. PC players with compatible NVIDIA RTX graphic cards can take advantage of DLSS, gaining vastly improved performance and visual quality. DLSS is an NVIDIA RTX technology which incorporates anti-aliasing and super sampling techniques to improve image detail at higher resolutions without compromising frame rate. I mean, you should have an NVIDIA. or a NVIDIA GeForce, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you should look into that.
I might, if I can put the game back online, that'll be nice. But the core of the problem here for me isn't even necessarily the fact that they crashed the game because of trying to make the graphics better. It's the fact that they, as a company, as developers, thought that the graphics were what needed refurbished. What I think that they ought to do right now is hire in, some sort of story writer, someone to write a campaign, an actual storyline for the game for you to follow, because they have it there. I remember, I've been playing this since the game came out, way back when you were, on your own in the universe, and all of a sudden you came across other travelers, and from talking to other travelers as well as introspection as you got through the game, you came to realize that you have vague memories of a place where everyone came together. You were there with other travelers, other members of your species in the galaxy, and you weren't alone exploring the galaxy. And I was like, that'd be a great storyline. You're trying to get back home, trying to piece back together these memories and make your way back home. And anything like that, any base storyline would have been fantastic. But we haven't received anything like that. Instead, we got the Artemis quest line and the Nexus.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Nexus being like the thing you find immediately that fits that exact description.
But there's no, it's not difficult to get there, and you interact with maybe 2, 3 counting Polo, the interactions with the NPCs there. Everyone else, you have that first conversation where they say hi, and then you never speak to them again.
Right. Back to this, Richard Caves. When's the last time you found an open cave that you can walk around in No Man's Sky? Because I've had a lot of trouble finding those, if I've ever found them. So I don't know what this really does.
Oh, yeah.
Parallax occlusion mapping. Oh, boy. I mean, this looks fine. This looks better. But, there's no dip. Can I actually drag that? I can. I mean, yeah, it looks better, but, I'm not looking at the ground.
Right. We're not, as we're playing the game, we're not looking at it like that.
Meteorological rewards. Hazardous weather events such as meteors or lightning impacts now have a chance to spawn valuable objects. What about the
Storm crystals?
Storm crystals, yeah.
Right, those were already there.
And those are a really good source of income, so what? Improved torch visuals. I could see, I'm good. Refractions. Oh boy, it's hard looking inside your base now. Appearance modifier, UI refresh. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, I'm not against UI refreshes with this game. Their controls are,
that's kind of a
always
cool
nice.
effect. Which but they already had the pet update.
Right.
Chromatic starfields. Okay. I can get behind that.
That
can't be very graphic intensive.
No,
right?
that can't be graphic intensive, and it really adds into the idea that you can fly.
It has
into
fur!
space.
It has fur! It's fur!
Oh boy.
Photo mode improvements. I don't know if I've ever used photo mode.
I use it if I'm trying to find stuff.
Dude.
But not for.
They put God rays in the game. They have light shafts now. It's shining through.
I thought they put that in with Next.
Yeah, wait. Minecraft. This game is worse than Minecraft because Minecraft already has this stuff.
Oh my goodness.
It already has creatures with fur, which one of my friends says is an Enderman, which is absurd to me. The concept that an Enderman has short, velvety fur, and that it it fucking purrs. They say it purrs. They say Enderman purr.
It creaks.
It goes.
But yeah.
It's like.
Okay, this bite beat sharing and drum improvements is.
Bite beat sharing. What the hell is bite beat?
I'm still exploring.
I want to
that
dance with some
aspect.
Gek. Do you want to dance with some Gek? Because I'm feeling like maybe I want to dance with some 2 feet tall creatures.
This was a near miss on what I wanted. I've been wanting a solid No Man's Sky exploration soundtrack in game for forever because the music is so spontaneous.
Dude, he's jumping in the air. That means it's good. Look at this guy. I don't know what that is.
That's one of the Traveler Fate heads, but
movable freighter bases.
Those have been a thing since the game came out.
Extraplanetary detail. It's okay. The texture looks better. I actually can't appreciate that, but I'm just trying to get from one place to another, really. Improved rain effects. I don't want rain.
No, there's no worse mistake than making a base on a rainy planet, because the moment it starts raining, anyone you're trying to listen to speak you can't hear them.
Like on the tropical planet we built our first base on, Egg Base.
Egg Base.
and every time it started raining, not only would we start burning to death, we couldn't hear each other talk.
Oh my goodness.
A new terminal has been added to the Blueprint research area of the Space Anomaly. This new automated research station will provide recipes for crafting components in exchange for nanites. What? What specifically, like?
I think that's
crafting
supposed to be like the manufacturing bases that we went to.
Oh.
I haven't checked it, but
Particle effects improvements. Explosions have been enhanced for more satisfying. I don't need dust clouds.
No.
Just blow it apart. I like that, though, blowing up the robots.
that's nice.
That's kind of fun.
The Sentinels have been incredibly unsatisfying, so I'm glad to see that.
Quality of life improvements, including making it harder for you to run
Run
the
the
game.
game.
A number of UI and quality of life improvements have been added. These include an icon to show when new items have been added to an inventory. We have that. Like, it's like, oh, I got something. Improvement to the UI when receiving several blueprints at the same time. Improvement to the planetary chart. Charts will no longer be consumed should they fail to find a building.
I do like that idea.
That is nice. Rideable flying creatures.
If
because
you
your
can get
ship
to
isn't
them.
Sufficient. Space station core. These
What
observe
does
flight
that do?
conventions while docking. The station controller will be watching. It's an eyeball that does nothing. I don't know what it does. By now.
Well, hang on. Here's the thing. Go back up to, what is it? No. Down. I mean the eye.
Space station hangars.
Please observe flight path conventions while docking. It auto docks.
Right. I think this is just flavor text.
Yeah.
So No Man's Sky. If you like it, sorry. Anyway.
Well, again, it's one of those games where it's great for the first playthrough, but once you finished it, there's nowhere else to go. Nothing else to do.
Right.
You know, it's in a galaxy of infinite exploration of the same thing over and over again, and that's been its bane since it came out. Like I said, if they want to improve it, what they need to do is put in a solid storyline, a longer storyline,
Infinitely repetitive exploration.
or you get the expeditions, where if you finish the expedition, you get to add the Normandy from Mass Effect to your fleet. That was actually a thing. If you want to pull that up,
I don't know. I've never played Mass Effect.
I don't
It's on me.
blame you. It's
The Normandy.
yeah, No Man's Sky Normandy. So
Normandy.
the expeditions were long, difficult, community-based things.
Guy.
No matter how to get it.
To add the Normandy SR1 permanently to your fleet, all players have to do is complete to complete a mysterious new expedition available in No Man's Sky since last week.
It's already over, but
Pardon me.
the problem is that it doesn't do anything. You can't land on it. You can't interact with
You
it.
can't fly it; it's just there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just.
It's just a
aesthetic.
decoration. It's not even like the other ships in your fleet where you can get chromatic metal or condensed carbon from them. It's just there, which makes for a great trophy. But I mean, and like I appreciate the crossover. It's just
Right. Have you seen Loki yet?
I saw the first 2 episodes.
That's all that's out. So yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Actually, I think a new one comes out tomorrow, so that'll be good.
Yeah. Wednesday.
Reason I asked is because this article caught my attention. Loki head writer Michael Waldron on the Timekeepers, Loki's gender fluidity in the multiverse war. The main one I wanted to ask you about was that gender fluidity argument. What do you think? I can explain to you what he's like saying about it.
Is this the female version from an alternate timeline?
Well, there's that, but there's the argument that Loki isn't like constrained to one gender, which I think makes sense as a shapeshifter and a god. Like in theory, I don't think any god is a gender, because they're not held down by social construct, which gender is
Gotcha.
not
my
biologically
thing with
speaking.
this-
There are differences between.
Gotcha. My thing with this, I feel like this is digging in too deep to what is effectively entertainment. I'm just watching
Right,
a show
but people
for
care about the
entertainment.
character, which is why they want to know.
Right, which is for them their prerogative. I'm fine with that. It's just I'm just saying for me, I'm watching it for entertainment. I don't usually dig into characters that much.
Well, the series always going to start at Avengers Tower in 2012. I feel like that's a question for Feige, not Waldron. How much backstory of the Timekeepers in existence do they figure out? What can you say about the stones that are on the heads of the Timekeepers? Oh, yeah.
I feel like after the Infinity Stones, we don't need to focus on the stones on the Timekeepers.
But they're like Infinity Ultra Stones.
We don't need to go. Oh boy, but
I love that they cast Owen Wilson, by the way.
the
What a great choice.
He's the dude that's working with Loki. For the
Yeah.
first two. Yeah,
He's Mobius, this
Mo-
guy.
yeah. I've definitely liked him.
Yeah, Owen Wilson
was
is a great
spot on.
personality.
What was it? Oh, is it bad that when I first saw it, for half a second I thought it was Wanda standing in the store, just because of the crown thing at first glance, and the lights were red inside. So
That I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
yeah. So
well-
after that, I was like, oh wait, no, it's not. But
Oh my goodness! What a great question. How the first episode talks about the multiverse war. How does the series open the door to what will happen in Doctor Strange 2 and Spider-Man No Way Home? That's an amazing question. They talked about Wanda blowing open the multiverse, but I think that this has potential to do the same thing.
well, she's already bombed the timeline,
Well, yeah,
so I'm thinking.
she did. Wanda's already messed stuff up as it is, and then this female Loki is also responsible for blowing the timeline up at multiple locations. I'm really curious about what she's going to achieve and why she did it that way in particular. By the way, spoilers.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I mean, that was kind of covered when we started talking about Loki. But what was it?
So
Well,
she dropped the time charges in multiple points
Right.
in the sacred timeline, and it created a bunch of the branches headed towards like the red lines. Like it's gonna explode. It's gonna ruin the sacred timeline. It's gonna open up the multiverse and create the multiverse wars again,
Right.
which I think will happen.
Mhm.
I believe the
Well-
multiverse wars will start in episode 3
Yeah.
of 6 episodes. We're only getting 6 episodes of this.
Gotcha.
Um,
My thing is, as far as bombing the timeline goes, I don't think that's going to be able to be easily rectified because she sent them back. The bombs
Right.
themselves are what they used to fix them. So how are you going to rectify that issue? Because bear in mind, they can't travel right immediately back.
right, but
or-
how did it happen necessarily? If they're supposed to rectify changes, how did they create the changes?
Hmm?
If the time charges rectify the changes, how did they cause them? By dropping them into different points in the timeline.
because they
Because they weren't
purged.
supposed to be there.
Right, yeah, because they weren't supposed to be there. And when they send off the purge, even if it doesn't do anything, so as we saw, it only really affects things that weren't supposed to be that way in the timeline.
Right.
It's still people saw it going off and thought, what was that? Which is just
It
enough.
caused the explosion, and they recognized it, and then they
Right.
caused like deviations, variants everywhere.
Right,
Like,
it's that
okay.
butterfly effect.
We'll know more tomorrow. This episode will come out tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure of it. So like you'll know the answer maybe by the time this goes
Yeah.
up.
What I absolutely want to see though is how they bring in the X-Men. That's what I'm anticipating because I know it's not going to be for a while, but
I think it's gonna be in Spider-Man: No Way Home. Part of me just because of the fact that Spider-Man's interacted with the X-Men so many
Oh, yeah.
times.
Well,
like,
and it's such
especially
a-
Wolverine.
mm-hmm.
I wonder who they're gonna cast as Wolverine.
Right. Especially filling the shoes of Hugh Jackman, that's going to be difficult.
Yeah. I wonder almost if they're going to cast like. Because like you got you saw Logan, right? Which was it was like the dark, super well done, well shot. Like cinematically, it's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Logan was, and it showed the death of Xavier and Wolverine.
Oh no, this is the really old one where Wolverine had to help Charles use the bathroom, right?
I don't know about that. I don't remember that. But like,
I seem to remember seeing that in the
He
satire.
he has his daughter.
Yeah, well, the donor daughter. Yeah.
Yeah, the daughter, and who is
Yeah.
also Wolverine, who is set up to be the next Wolverine. I wonder if, because they've also said that Deadpool is in the same universe as the MCU, and if they're bringing everything colliding into the same timeline, if that won't be the next Wolverine.
I wouldn't mind that. That'd be cool.
That would be
I like
a good
this-
setup.
Yeah. Oh, and also I hope they fix Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler's been a long time one of my favorite.
Yeah, wasn't he a
hero.
bad guy in the recent one, or was he a good guy in the recent one?
Oh.
Because I remember there was one where he was like an assassin. and-
Yeah. So that was X2, I think.
Oh.
That one, the first thing they got wrong is Nightcrawler in the comic books had shadow over his face a lot.
Mm.
It made it look like he was older than he was. So they cast him as like a 40-year-old mutant, and he's been younger than that. That's just my personal issue.
They've restarted the timeline of the X-Men so many times.
Right, and that's why I take issue with the age he was there, because then in the newest one with Apocalypse, he was a
teenager, which
which
made
is-
more sense.
Made more sense. A little too young, but I liked it. But moving on,
He had
no,
enough
the
of
thing.
a grasp on his powers that I don't think it was one of the cliche, like, I'm a kid and I have powers and I know it, but I don't know how to control it. Like, he figured it out. He could do it.
Mhm. But no, in that one, he was Alex Stryker is the guy behind the Weapon X program.
Right.
He was mind controlling Nightcrawler to make him go do that.
Yeah,
After
yeah.
Nightcrawler broke free from it and teleported back to, I think it was Germany, which makes sense. That's where he's from, and that's where the X-Men found him. But no, my thing is he's been too old. He's been a little too young. Not too much young, but that was the movie itself. I think they just need to clean restart parts, not all, but parts
Yeah.
of the X-Men universe, like the whole Phoenix. Both Phoenix sagas need to be recycled. Mystique is a villain, so they need to continue. I liked her hero arc up until Dark Phoenix Mark
Right.
II, but I feel like she definitely makes one of the better villains.
Yeah, you know what was a surprisingly good casting choice?
Hmm.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
She made a surprisingly good Mystique,
Mm-hmm.
like, acting-wise.
Oh
Like-
yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
she fit the appearance, she fit the build, but she also somehow pulled off the acting, which I never thought I'd see Jennifer Lawrence in, like, the superhero genre.
Uh-huh.
She definitely fits, like, the young adult genre, like we saw with
Yeah.
Hunger Games. She did an okay job with Katniss in that. I
Yeah.
think her acting in that was fine. I think that the Hunger Games was flawed from the get-go.
My issue with the Hunger Games has nothing to do with the actors. It's entirely there are so many plot holes in that trilogy.
Right, absolutely. And because at the end, obviously, who wrote it? C.K. Lewis?
Oh, I don't
Who
know.
wrote the Hunger Games? I'm going to look it up.
I don't think it was C.K. Lewis. You don't think it's C.S. Lewis, are you?
I might be.
'Cause
Suzanne Collins.
Susan Collins, that's right.
Who the hell is C.K. Lewis?
He's
Is that
a
comedian?
Christian. C.S. Lewis. No, he's a Christian writer. He wrote
Louis-
the
I'm
Chronicles of Narnia, among other famous works.
C.K. Lewis.
Oh, do you have an actual C.K. Lewis?
Louis C.K. being... Oh my god, this guy. So that was a way off base guess.
Gotcha.
C.K. Lewis being a
Uh,
very controversial and not very appealing comedian who had his time in the spotlight and then tanked.
Gotcha. But no, and I do think they need to rectify the Cyclops, Jean Grey characters. Those both kind of went downhill. The age changing, the story, the amount of times they reset it, they just need to do a clean restart.
Right.
Keep elements of it, obviously, but clean restart. Archangel was a huge disappointment, quite honestly.
Didn't watch that one. I didn't watch Dark Phoenix. I didn't watch.
He was in
Hurricane.
Apocalypse, but yeah.
Did I watch Apocalypse? I did watch Apocalypse. Okay.
Gotcha, yeah. No, he was a disappointment, especially for as powerful as his character is supposed to be, and they just ran him into the ground.
Well, see, that's the thing with superhero movies, and Marvel is guilty of this too. Like, especially evident in like DC. Like, characters are so powerful, but DC makes the mistake of not scaling them down. Marvel goes in the opposite direction, and as the universe progresses, you see it in the MCU. What was once the all-powerful just keeps growing, so everything else starts getting smaller. Like, oh, the Death Door full of Infinity Stones. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, like, and like the Tesseract, like, what is it?
And now it's just, one
It's
of the
just-
100.
Mhm.
And,
And like, it's, I get that they're like locked away in like a time outside of where they apply, or like where that power is
Right.
applicable, but I don't see the argument that they're not still powerful tools, because obviously they're by part of the sacred timeline, they're intended to be as the tools they are by the timekeepers, if we're following the argument that they have designed like the sacred timeline to follow
Right.
a certain path.
plus, why wouldn't you be equipping your people when they're going in to fix the timeline
Mhm.
with Infinity Stones? Because,
Right, but do they have the power to wield them once they become applicable? Because these are
well, we've seen
Are they
rumors around
people?
that.
Are they people?
Pe- well, they're entities. I don't know if human
Yeah,
applies.
are the TVA people? That's what I need. That's what I'm wondering. Like, cause like they could take the time stone, or they could take the space stone, and they could maybe make them work or use them. But using the time stone, like, as far as I'm aware, like there has to be an understanding of the mystic arts to apply it. The gauntlet was forged like by a higher power above that, like Thor, because
Well, the dwarf.
there's a whole like yeah, but like Norse.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm kind of losing my train of
Yeah,
thought
we're
here.
losing. We're losing her.
Be
The power dynamic in the Marvel universe is a little strange. At least in DC, you know everything's overpowered.
But at least they fixed that with the Snyder Cut. I mean,
The 4 hours of really bad action shots. Get your hero shots now, folks.
and I loved, hearing Superman come in and have his music playing behind him. That being said, I don't need it playing every time he comes up, and that goes for Wonder Woman too with the Amazonian, slow motion
Hmm.
stuff.
Every time they pass by the camera, there's a slow motion shot. Like when they're chasing, like towards the nuclear tower, like that one shot where like Aquaman's jumping through the air. Like you don't need it. You don't need
Exactly.
it. You don't need it. You don't need Snyder. Go away. Go away and let DC die. I like Marvel. I will watch things Marvel. I don't necessarily like everything Marvel does, but at least Feige knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm. Still better than the Star Wars universe, though. What are we looking?
Sorry, I just saw a Twitter post about updates to Pokemon Go,
Gotcha.
which is something I've been hooked on, to say the least. So let's look at this together. Exploration bonus updates coming to Pokemon Go. For the first time, they're acknowledging the pandemic, and to reward us, they're giving us a Tepig community. Oh no, I'm gonna do it. I just need a
Oh,
shiny.
yeah.
I want a shiny. I want a shiny of each stage,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm good. New exploration bonuses that make it more rewarding to play outside are coming in over the next several months, including bonuses for spinning stops, playing at in-person raids, and getting in those steps. Bonuses introduced last year that we plan to change or remove, tested first in the US and New Zealand, followed by other countries and regions based on local conditions. Bonuses introduced last year that we were planning on keeping, including first catch of the day bonuses, Go Battle League, and trainer battle requirements, and more. We'll only remove temporary bonuses introduced last year after Pokemon Go Fest 2021 starting in the United States and New Zealand. We wanted to give you an advanced heads up of what's coming in and our thinking behind it, as we said last November. New exploration bonuses receive up to 2 free raid passes per day for spinning gym photo
Right
discs.
on.
That's nice. Benefits from increased incense effectiveness while moving. Be guaranteed gifts when spinning Pokestops so long as they have not reached their maximum gift inventory.
So do the gifts run out different than actual the item inventory?
I think so.
Okay. 'Cause that's always been one of my concerns. Has been
I don't know actually. I can check that
Yeah.
right now. I'll receive 10 times bonus XP from spinning a Pokestop for the first time.
nice. The problem is locally there aren't many that I haven't.
Right. Well, that's the idea of like exploring, like going to places. Like I'm gonna be
Right.
in Georgia next week.
There you go.
I'm gonna get so many Pokestops. I'm gonna get so many Pokemon down there. I'm gonna do all kinds of raids near Atlanta
Nice.
if I can.
Send invites. I've got plenty of.
Over the past year, Incense
Nice.
effectiveness was increased to attack Pokemon to you more frequently. Even if you weren't able to leave home after the changes, this effectiveness will be set to the standard level when you're stationary. Increased effectiveness will kick in when you're moving. Previously, your buddy Pokemon brought you more gifts each day, up to 5 gifts at once, up to 3 times a day. This was because we knew trainers were learning low on supplies like Pokeballs and berries to help them catch Pokemon. As we moved to encouraging trainers to play outside more, they can continue to receive supplies from spinning Pokestops. After the change, the frequency of these gifts from buddy Pokemon will be reduced. Previously, Pokestops and gyms interactions distances were increased to enable people to engage from further away. After this change, the distance will revert back to the standard distance when it makes sense in different places, though it may be increased during future events as part of certain features. Remote raids have become an important part of this game, but this past year we're going to continue evolving them. Our intention is to find the right balance between remote play and in-person play, so stay tuned for more details in the coming months. Many of these in-person raid changes will be prepared for the eventual return of EX raids. Exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Bonuses introduced last year that we plan on keeping. Instead duration 60 minutes, no walking requirements for Go Battle League. I like that. You can challenge any trainer remotely with a QR code, and the requirement to battle with friends remotely has been lowered to good friends. The maximum number of gifts you can carry in your item bag up to that time will remain at 20. So it's like you'll always get a gift from a Pokestop if you don't have 20 in your
20 in your
inventory
inventory,
already.
okay.
Let me see if that takes up a slot. If I delete one gift, I guess I can delete one of my Starbucks gifts. And I wasn't paying attention. It appears that it is its own inventory. It did not impact me.
Gotcha.
Trainers will be able to open up to 30 gifts a day, up from the previous 20. You will continue to receive 3 times Stardust and XP for your first Pokemon catch of the day. This is the first time, and I've not been playing it terribly long, but this is the first time I think I've seen Niantic really reach out and like show compassion and caring about the fan base. Even though if you look at the Twitter and like every time they make an announcement, people are demanding things and like saying you suck and like why can't we convert normal raid passes into remote passes and stuff like that. It's like, hey, add this, and then everybody's like sharing what they have, and everybody's like, you suck. You're like, what's the term for it? There's a term for like spoofing. You're spoofing. And stuff like that. So the fact that Niantic doesn't necessarily interact with its own community sometimes makes sense.
Yeah.
Because we suck. And we all know that. I'm sorry. For some reason I've got something in my throat.
So here's one for you.
I'm dying.
I'm on my way to getting the second Giovanni radar. Should I use it to get a second Ho-Oh, or should I wait for Articuno to come back around?
So did you know you can actually unequip those?
Really?
I didn't know you can unequip rocket radars. But if you go into your bag and like tap on it,
No kidding.
like I had a rocket radar and I was like, I don't want to have this going because I want to get more grunts because I need to get the shadow Pokemon, right?
Right.
And I tapped on it and I unequipped it, and I just got grunts instead. No, I didn't get anything to get more because once you have a radar, you don't get components until you use it. But you don't have it equipped, so you're only finding grunts. I found that out. That's really cool to me. So if you're like, I don't want that.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
you can
nice.
unequip that. Like previously, I deleted one because I was like, I don't need it. Like, Rocket Go's gone right now. Why would I keep this on me?
Oh yeah. Well, my big issue ended up being Cliff. First time around against Cliff, he kept showing up, kept popping up, and I could not beat him because I didn't have anything to
Throw at flying types. The Bidoof event.
Bidoof.
Oh my
I'm very
gosh.
excited for the Bidoof breakout event
Why?
because Bidoof has a chance to be Ditto.
Well, we'll get the radar, I guess.
Yeah.
Or no, it's the Meltan research, isn't it?
I need executes for that though. Anyways, Shiny Bidoof will be making his debut. I don't know what Shiny Bidoof looks like. From what I remember, it's not very different.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited about the Shiny Bidoof. I like the way they phrased it because I always like stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's actually cute.
Is that shiny?
Apparently it is. That's not it. Oh, here it is. Shiny Bidoof, ladies and gentlemen.
That is just objectively terrifying, and I like it.
It is. So Pokemon Go is doing a Bidoof breakout event, which is kind of fun. There was a new thumbnail for Breath of the... Or not thumbnail, teaser trailer for Breath of the Wild 2. Which is interesting to me. I don't know how I feel about it, but that's fine. Oh, there's a map coming out for what's happening for the future of Nintendo, the Switch. Let's take a look. Summer 2021. So this is stuff that has already happened. Oh, they're remastering Diablo 2. Holy shit.
Don't know what that is.
It's a hack and slash game that I love. No More Heroes, which our buddy Tyler, who's been on the podcast, says is really good. Outer Wilds will be coming. Doki Doki Literature Club is going to be on the Switch. So if you've never played a game that you think is just cute and relaxing, you should try Doki Doki Literature Club. It's a good time. If you're like into the dating sim scene and you just want something chill to play, it's very good.
Yikes.
Zelda Skyward Sword Remastered, which hurts my soul. It's kind of... Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2! Sonic Colors Ultimate. I didn't really like Sonic games, but whatever. Metroid Dread, is that a new Metroid game?
Hmm.
I don't like Metroid. I didn't like the Metroidvania style. I love Hollow Knight. I love other games like that. I didn't care for Metroid. So maybe if it's more modern, I might like it. Guardians of the Galaxy game. I'm kind of excited about that. I want to see what that is. Mario Party Superstars, a new Mario Party game. Brilliant, Shining Pearl, Brilliant Diamond. We already talked about that. Danganronpa is coming. They're doing another Mario and Rabbids game, Pokemon Legends Arceus, and Splatoon 3. Why did they need a third Splatoon game? I don't really know the story about it.
For Pokemon Legends of Arceus, you think they'll put in random encounters when you're traveling through the wild?
I think you're gonna like see the Pokemon, like walking
Yeah.
around.
Again,
Hopefully.
I think we've already talked about this. But the biggest worry there being making sure that the game has stuff in it, especially like cities and towns and stuff, and isn't just wasteland forestry.
Which Toy Story character are you, CJ? I'm Duke Kaboom. Which Toy Story character are you, CJ?
I don't think I identify with any of the ones listed here.
No, it's your birth month.
Hmm?
It's your birth month.
Oh,
What month were you born? Which
the aliens. You know when I was born.
I know when you were born. I wanted you to say it. Wow. The claw. Don't mind the fact that I keep going back and forth. I just never know what I'm going to see on Twitter.
Yeah. It's for our safety as much as yours.
Oh,
It's from the cartoon, right?
what the? Fuck. So this is Ed Sheeran now.
Don't know who that is.
Okay, fine. I'm not gonna deal with that one. I liked his music. He pulled like an Imagine Dragons for me, where I like his earlier stuff a lot better, and then it kind of goes, oh, there's good songs in there. Oh, I like that song. Oh, I don't really care for that one. He released a collab album that I didn't really care for.
Big Wasp.
Yeah, he's been hanging out there. I'm surprised he's still alive. So now Ed Sheeran's back like this. White men watch Joker one time. Well, that's kind of funny. Was it-
Appealing current event. Did take 3.
Yeah, I don't know about that. So I am. I'm tired.
Yep. I feel that. Is that it? Yeah, I don't get it.
Internet Explorer, it's not loading. I guess you'd have to understand the lines from the movie at this point. That's fine.
This is really talking about why dictatorship would be better, right?
Maybe. I don't remember.
Yeah. Oh, there's Tepe again.
Tepig.
When Black chooses Tapeg and we're all sitting there like, why did he do that?
The new bounty hunter in town. See the return of Cad Bane.
Did they bring Cad Bane back?
in episode 8 of Star Wars: The Bad Batch? Noted that is there. So if anybody's watching Bad Batch, Cad Bane's coming back, which I remember you saying you liked.
Mm-hmm. See, I want to see that. The problem is I don't want to see them turn around with the Bad Batch and rely exclusively on guest cameos to float it along.
Right.
So I know they've already brought in who all I've heard about. They brought Captain Rex in. Wasn't surprised there. They brought in the Martinez sisters. I don't know why they did that, but
Yeah, I don't know.
Who else have we seen so far? Tarkin, but that is less of a guest cameo, more of a plot device, so I can give him that.
Yeah.
Which I want to say, as far as Bad Batch is concerned, and Star Wars in general, of course it would be Tarkin who decided, rather than using these elite clone troopers and clone troopers in general, we're going to go ahead and use stormtroopers because that seems like an upgrade.
I don't know, man. Like, we were losing this war previously, so let's use something other than what was winning the war.
Oh, and as far as the helmets go,
Grievous who?
Oh man, as far as the helmets go, I hope you weren't looking to look at your target because you can't see them.
Yeah.
Heck, the B-1 battle droids put up a better fight.
Right. Anyways,
Roger.
Speaking of Disney, because talking about Star Wars is now tied to Disney.
Forever and irrevocably.
The Hunchback of Notre Dame at 25, the most R-rated G you will ever see. Let's talk about this New York Times article where they say that the Hunchback of Notre Dame is way too graphic. They know by Sarah Barr. I wonder who this is. I'm not going to look at her. Not now, because I don't want to rip into just a journalist. They know exactly what they got away with. That's the most R-rated G you will ever see in your life, said Tab Murphy, a screenwriter of Disney's animated The Hunchback of Notre Dame, which was released 25 years ago this month. Thousands of dollars must have been changed hands somewhere, I'm sure, said Gary Trousdale, who directed the film with Kirk Wise. Are we just not aware that times change? That's my immediate question. Are we not aware that times change? That what is acceptable now may not have, is not the same as what was acceptable 25 years ago.
A plot that involves the threat of genocide against gypsies.
Was appropriate for a general audience. No, I'm sorry. We should shelter our kids. I apologize.
I'm just saying there's a reason you don't teach about the Holocaust in elementary school.
Well, yeah. But at the same time, the threat of genocide against gypsies is different than, like, genociding gypsies, animating the genocide of gypsies.
It's still the introduction of the idea, though.
It sets up the bad guy, and no kid's gonna grasp the concept of genocide. They don't get it. They're just like, oh, that guy's bad, and like that's the whole thing. Like the score of this movie, by the way, is a masterpiece. So if you got a problem with that, just leave the discussion. It's just. I don't get the problem.
Whoa. The fact that what is arguably Disney's darkest animated movie, have they not seen Beauty and the Beast? Or as I like to call it, Stockholm Syndrome?
Yeah, everybody makes the argument about Stockholm Syndrome and can accept the possibility that... Okay, I get the argument. I don't think it's impossible that she just, a caring person that she was already, could have taken a liking to someone who came around to show her kindness.
After imprisoning her against her will.
After she broke into his castle.
In order to save her father.
Who was trespassing.
Right, but just because a person trespasses doesn't mean you have the right to lock them in your basement for goodness knows how long.
CJ, I might need a lawyer.
I mean, we can continue down this trail. I love the part about the original one being it was a 9-year-old boy who answered the door as a prince, and the sorceress got upset about how rude he was to her.
I do like that
so
part.
She cursed him and not only him, but everyone else in the castle at the time, and then cursed the village so they wouldn't be able to remember their loved ones who were there at the time, because a 9-year-old boy saw a stranger and closed the door.
It's like, I don't know, I don't want to be a... It's like, you... Yeah, alright. I get it. But I'm pretty sure the darkest animated movie is The Fox and the Hound.
Okay, you win that one.
Yeah. PJ Today is the equivalent of what was G back in the 1990s. Trousdale adds, nowadays you can't even smoke in a G film.
Well, that one's begun.
But it was released back then. So why are you
Yeah,
questioning it?
That specific case is the change in the outlook of smoking, because especially for kids, that's unlike the subtle theme of genocide against gypsies, which is wrong. This was smoke. This is smoking, which a kid's going to see and want to reciprocate the behavior of because they're seeing it's cool.
The Hellfire sequence was beautifully done. Like the score in that part, like every time like he it's like there's like a call and response with that wasp is having a bad time. There's like a call and a response in like the song where like every time Judge Claude Frollo like sings, like he's like hyping himself up in like the eyes of God, and it's like it's in major key, but then the response for like the harmony is in minor key, so it's like yeah you're talking yourself up, but the actual case is
Gotcha.
Murphy had long waited to adapt the 1831 Gothic story of Esmeralda, a beautiful Roma woman who captured the hearts of several Parisian men, including Quasimodo, a bell ringer with severe hunchback, whom Hugo described as hideous and devil of a man. But then he realized what he'd gotten himself into. I was like, oh god, I don't want to write a singing, dancing, watered-down film that turns this amazing piece of work literature into a typical Disney movie, but he said it was to the credit of Walt Disney Company executive at the time, Roy E. Disney and Michael D. Eisner, that they took a hands-off approach. I was never told to stay away from this or that and you can't do this. They were like, you write the story you want to tell and let us worry about our brand. Of course, the Hugo novel in which major Disney characters die at the end was too depressing for a Disney film, so Murphy had to get creative. Obviously, it's not true to the exact story.
Cinderella, how the Brothers Grimm meant for it to be.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
He decided the story would focus on the colorful fantasy world Quasimodo imagined while stuck in his bell tower. There'd be a festival, talking gargoyles, a hero to root for. Instead of Quasimodo being whipped at the pillory, he's pelted with vegetables and humiliated at the Feast of Fools. Hugo's troubled archdeacon, Claude Frollo, became an evil magistrate. Disney did not want to take on the church, Trousdale said. Unlike in the novel, Esmeralda is saved by Quasimodo and the dashing Phoebus, Kevin Kline, the rebel captain of the guard. All three live happily ever after instead of dying, as both Quasimodo and Esmeralda do in the book. But Wise says there's always one looming issue they had to deal with: Frollo's lust for Esmeralda. Yeah. Another dark Disney movie that nobody's complaining about: Pocahontas.
Little Mermaid. Oh, sorry.
Pocahontas. If we're talking culturally. Like, I don't think I've seen a lot of complaints about that one. But, like, it's historically accurate-ish as far as Disney goes. And it surrounds, like, the capture and, like, forced servitude and, like, the destruction of Native American land by the colonists. Even if it follows, like, the love story kind of arc, it's still, like, there's still a ton in there that's about, like, the destruction and, like, the attempted murder.
And that's something that drives me insane, is when people start yelling about how insensitive something is when it's a historically accurate depiction of the events. Like, obviously there are cases where it becomes insensitive,
Right.
where it is an issue. But at the same time, if you can't just say it never happened, because if we forget that the mistakes were made, we're going to, not us, but generations down the road, they're not going to hear about it. They're not going to know about it. They're going to repeat he who forgets history is doomed to repeat it. Just because it was unpleasant doesn't mean we should be ignoring it. It needs addressal. It needs to be analyzed accurately. Otherwise,
Yeah, and I want to make a quick comment before we continue. We are two white men, and it is not lost on us that the whole cultural representation isn't about us. Cultural sensitivity, what offends, what should be or shouldn't be touched on in culture nowadays, or even back then. It's not about us. We're not trying to be in the way or, like, make it about us. We're just two guys talking, okay? Take what we say as nothing. I'm not trying to talk my actions away or, like, what we're talking about.
Well, this is pure social commentary. We're not trying to evoke a reaction out of you. We're not trying to, stir up trouble or, cause issues in society. All it is, commentary, our own personal analyses. If you disagree, that's your prerogative. That's fantastic, because, it's good to have your own opinion. If you agree, that's also fantastic, because, again, you're having your own opinion. We're not trying to assimilate anyone's beliefs or
Right.
decry the great injustices occurred, because That's not our role. That's not our.
Right. It's not about us.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not trying to be in the way or make it about us. One moment. Sorry for the sudden
we're
cut
back.
there. Had to answer a call. Anyways, moving on. Now that we've said that, we don't need to linger on it. Disney has a lot of reading between the lines in their more historical films. And I think that's the proper way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I can admit that this was a little bit direct. But I don't know, man. I guess I'm nostalgic for Disney. The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Down with the empire. Down with the capitalist, monopoly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm nostalgic for the content, not the corporation.
Oh, you're not? Is that just me then?
Though it was never stated explicitly why I said a G rating was the expectation, the studio felt that anything above a G would threaten the film's box office. This was before Shrek or movies that made a PG rating and animation commonplace. Shrek was a staple of culture.
Haven't seen.
You haven't seen Shrek?
No.
Is it because our friend group talks it up?
No, but that definitely put the last nail in the coffin.
I don't see why you're like that. I don't get that. Why you're like that. Like, we enjoy something, we think something's entertaining, and you can't.
Clearly, it's bad.
CJ, you're a friend.
Right. We've established this.
Which means you fall into the category of something we appreciate, and we enjoy your company.
Oh, rarely ever.
That's not true.
Oh, dear.
I was thinking about this today. We've been friends for roughly 10 years.
About, yeah.
That's wild to me. That makes you one of my oldest friends.
Awesome.
A G-rated film, according to the Motion Picture Association of the American System, which was introduced in 1968, contains nothing in theme, language, nudity, sex, violence, or other matters that, in the view of the rating board, would offend parents whose younger children view the motion picture. Some snippets of language it say may go beyond polite conversation, but they are common in everyday expressions. Which Hellfire I don't think fits, so I can see why there was surprise there.
Mm-hmm.
First cut of Hunchback indeed didn't pass muster for a G, but it wasn't the use of hell or damnation that the board took issue with, it was the sound effects. In the Hellfire number, imagined as a nightmarish hallucinogenic sequence, Frollo is tormented by hooded, red-robed figures that reflect his slippery grasp on reality. This burning desire he sings is turning me to sin. Gazing at a dancing Esmeralda figure in his fireplace. The rating board was uncomfortable with the word sin, Trousdale said, but the sequence was already animated, the soundtrack recorded, so they couldn't change the lyric. Then Han came up with the solution to make the whoosh when the hooded figures rush up from the floor a little louder so it would drown out the sin. It worked. Okay, now I gotta question the decision to cut the word sin.
I feel like the prior words discussed were a lot,
Sin is a word that is used applicably by most people regardless of religious affiliation.
Mm-hmm.
It's commonplace. And it goes beyond polite conversation, granted.
Well, plus, a kid, you're looking at this from the perspective of a kid or a parent of a kid. Sin is much less of a bad word than...
Yeah, hell, damnation.
Yeah.
I take more of an issue with damnation than I do sin.
Mm-hmm.
I don't...
I should have put the whoosh in, a little bit earlier.
In the scene where Frollo sneaked up behind Alvarado and sniffed her hair, fair enough, that was a little... the hit rating board thought the sniff was too suggestive. Could you lower the volume on that? And they did, and they got a G rating. I don't like how loud he smelled her hair. If you just lower that,
That's
we'll
the
keep
issue
it a G
here.
rating.
Oh my goodness.
The film's tagline, "Join the party." I didn't realize that was the tagline of the movie. Oh no. Yeah, there is a responsibility to truth in advertising that they betrayed. People were really pissed off that it wasn't just about talking gargoyles and feasts and pies in the face. They were really upset that the Feast of Fools, which in concept sounds like something you would do to make fun of people, wasn't just partying. Tom Zigo, a spokesman for the Classification and Rating Administration, which administers the rating system, said that he could not speak about the specifics of The Hunchback G, but that it was very possible that the movie we rated 25 years ago would receive a different rating today. My point exactly. Hahn, Menken, Murphy, Trousdale, and Wise all agreed there would be no chance of the film getting a G rating today or even being made at all. I can see it being made, maybe not by Disney, but I can see like another studio taking the same like book and like creating a film for it, and it being much more. It would be live action, I think, today, and it would follow like it would be an R-rated film, and it would follow the actual book, the storyline, because I think there's a phase of movies recently that are all just about the accuracy and representation and the darkness behind the past and the present. And then there's the Fast and Furious 9. Yeah. Disney was willing to take some chances in that movie that I don't think they take today. That's a PG-13 in my book. I still think that it's a good film, though. It holds up, like it says. It stands the test of time.
It was a good film. I
The-
think for children, maybe less or so.
The
Just
villain was definitely more applicable now in like the social movements than I feel like in the past. Like it's a villain that you really are like, oh, that's more of a bad guy than he was. Not that he wasn't already disgusting.
smelling people's hair.
They're like, yeah, this is just as messed up. This messed me up when I saw it as a kid, but I still love it. Reckon said Hellfire pushes the envelope more in terms of what Disney does than any song he's ever written. Maybe in retrospect, Hunchback was a bridge too far, but God, I am glad they took that bridge too far. Good movie. Would not have received the same rating today. That's the article. But yeah. What other Disney movie? What's your favorite Disney movie?
Are we talking like old classics?
We're talking like the Disney Vault, not like Star Wars or Marvel
No,
or.
Star Wars.
Well,
Anyway.
any of those films are not technically Disney films.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that. Anyway, so Disney Vault, older. Oh,
All the way ranging from I don't remember the first one, Snow White, I think, all the way to what's the most recent one? I don't remember.
so up to modern day. I'd have to say Cars. Just
Cars?
the original Cars.
Cars
Yes.
was good.
First one yeah, Cars was Disney, right?
Yeah, it's the one that had Life is a Highway by the Rascal Flatts
Yeah.
and turned that into a meme just as much as All Star by Smash Mouth.
Oh yeah, but that was one of the first animated movies I ever watched. It was a big one growing up.
Was that Disney or was that Pixar?
I mean Disney owns Pixar now, so I figured it counted. But
I'm gonna pull up Disney Plus and look through the vault and see what counts.
yeah,
Okay,
let's do that.
Let's do that.
Because like I'm pretty sure it was from Pixar, but
Pull up my Disney Plus account. Don't mean to flex. Disney.
oh, is Cruella now available?
Yeah.
The movie where they accidentally forgot to make her a villain.
We're just not gonna answer that.
Like, don't get me wrong. From what I've seen, it looks pretty good. But they also forgot to make her someone who wants to skin puppies alive.
That's fair. Disney through the years. We'll browse through here. All the old Mickey Mouse stuff. Wow. You know what I didn't really get? Fantasia.
Yeah.
I didn't get it when I was little. Like it was like I get that it's supposed to be like a musical thing, but I didn't understand it. Mickey's Christmas Carol is one of the best adaptations though I've ever seen.
find when it comes to the older Mickey stuff, I love it because it's so culturally iconic. You know, it's
and
such
they're funny.
and funny.
Like the Goofy movie, the Three Musketeers. Mickey,
I love the
Donald,
Three
Goofy.
Musketeers.
So good.
Oh, the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. That will haunt my nightmares forever.
Oh, that's not right. Disney Channel original movies.
No.
No. 90s throwbacks. Disney
No.
Channel through special musicals.
Is Disney taking credit for Hamilton?
No, they just took the. They
That'd
just
be
got the
funny,
rights.
all right.
This isn't necessarily the Vault, but it's Walt Disney Animation Studios.
So yeah.
Raya and the Last Dragon. That's the last one that came out. Didn't see the whole thing. I saw like the ending of it. Looking through here, Bolt counts. I forgot about Bolt. The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. 101 Dalmatians. Winnie the Pooh. Oh, I used to love that. That's not it.
Wow.
I'm trying to find the vault. Where's the Disney
Let me
vault?
just Google it.
No! Ugh, fine.
I'm gonna pull out Disney, Alex, not to flex.
Main features, featuring Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Pinocchio, Fantasia, Bambi, Cinderella, Peter Pan, Lady and the Tramp, Sleeping Beauty, 101 Dalmatians, The Jungle Book, The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, and The Lion King. Follow-up movies and remakes, Return of Jafar, Aladdin and the King of Thieves, 101 Dalmatians, what? Beauty and the Beast, The Enchanted Christmas, Beauty and the Beast, Belle's Magical World, The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride, Fantasia 2000, The Little Mermaid 2, Return to the Sea, 102 Dalmatians, Lady and the Tramp 2, Scamp's Adventure, Return to Neverland, Cinderella 2, Dreams Come True, 101 Dalmatians 2, Patch's London Adventure, The Jungle Book 2, The Lion King 1.5, Bambi 2, Cinderella 3, A Twist in Time, The Little Mermaid, Ariel's Beginning, Alice in Wonderland, Maleficent, Cinderella, The Jungle Book, Alice Through the Looking Glass, Beauty and the Beast, Dumbo, Aladdin, The Lion King, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, Lady and the Tramp, Cruella. So
Let's go off main features.
yeah, we'll look through the main features and decide from there. From what I see here, Aladdin is my favorite.
I gotta say, I like Aladdin. I like Peter Pan. Pinocchio, I never really got behind, but
I
I'd
didn't-
say probably Aladdin at my top.
The visuals of Pinocchio were a little disturbing for me.
Mm-hmm. Plus, it was never really an engaging storyline for me.
That's fair.
It was, I like the idea of Jimmy Cricket.
I
the
was
conscious-
already a real boy, so I didn't connect with the main
Right,
character.
right. No, but I like the aspect of Jiminy Cricket is the conscious. I love that character.
Right.
But aside from that, the greater film, it was like you said, the visual. I think it ended up being the visuals. It looked too abstract for my younger
Right.
mind to find enjoyable. But yeah, I think Aladdin's probably up at the top.
Bambi was another one I didn't really follow too well.
Well, it was
that's fine.
so disjointed. Even just looking back, all I remember is him being born, his mother dying, and then
And
him
then like the
as a buck.
flaming forest fire fight
Uh-huh.
between him and another buck, which I didn't really get. Why did that happen?
I think it was supposed to be kind of like your Pinocchio rite of passage into
Rite of passage,
manhood,
yeah.
Or,
Was he
real-
defending another was he defending a doe?
He was not so much defending as competing for a doe,
Oh,
which is why it was a rite of passage.
right. I'll say it. I liked Sleeping Beauty.
Never seen it.
You didn't see that one?
Well, my sister saw it. I saw it by extent, but
You
I
should watch it. It's one of the better older ones.
gotcha.
Aladdin is my favorite though. I like the music in there. I like the pacing. Yeah.
Jungle Book, gross stereotypes
Snow White
behind.
and the Seven
the
Dwarfs
side.
was 1937.
That was
Wow.
before World War II even.
The Jungle Book, yeah.
There were just, the plot line, again, I never really
It was
followed
like-
one, but...
It was boy meets jungle kind of thing.
Right, and I like that aspect as a kid. My issue came from growing up, and especially after reading Heart of Darkness,
Mhm.
you really start seeing how it was an imperialist kind of mentality.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't care much for that, just because again that falls into a bunch of
You know,
Yeah.
what is civilization versus culture, etc. Just, it got messy. But, like, animation-wise, it was fine.
In terms of like animated movies as a whole, though, The Incredibles was my favorite growing up.
Oh, hands down.
Mm-hmm.
We waited so long for that sequel, and it fell so short.
No, it didn't. That was great. I loved The Incredibles too.
What was the antagonist's name?
It was the girl. Can you tell me the antagonist of The Incredibles 1? Can
Syndrome?
you? There you go. Okay, you can.
And yeah, and the name of the main
I love-
antagonist in Incredibles 2 was Evelyn Dever. Evil Endeavor.
That's cute.
Plus,
that's cute. Come on, that's cute. That's
Yeah.
clever.
I threw away the entire plot line. Plus,
Get it?
well, that
Were you
and-
sitting there the first time around like Evelyn Endeavor,
Yeah.
Evil Endeavor? Did you figure that out round one?
Yes, and
Am I dumb?
and beyond that, it was a carbon cut copy and paste of the plot line from Incredibles 1. Family has issues fitting into society. One member of family goes out, not exactly legally, to go and fix the situation and fight bad guys, while other member takes care of family. Kids are told they can't fight the supervillains because they're not ready. Kids then choose to fight the supervillains because of lack of choice, either because of their own choice and circumstances or being attacked. Family comes together and bands together, realizing that they can only beat this threat as a group. And family makes superheroes look good in the eyes of the public.
The difference being, in the first movie, Mr. Incredible went out behind his family's back, went out behind the world's back, and did this hero work because he was envious of the golden age of heroes. In the second one, the person after that was, like, obviously Bob still had that ambition, but he wasn't like going out of his way to cause it because it was right after the first one. So he was humbled a little bit. Like, he was ready to get back out there, but they chose Elastigirl. A smart decision in terms of plot. But there was another guy who was like, I want the golden age of heroes back. So he sponsored, this is a privately sponsored superhero. So it's like a company sponsoring Tom Brady. It's a different scenario. You know, to try and make them look good so that they can push, like, legislature. Like, they're trying to make actual political change.
Ah,
in the
yes,
second one.
political change. That's what I like in all my superhero movies.
Well, I was wondering when the lawnmower was going to
Right?
show up.
I was thinking he hasn't come around yet.
That might be our indicator. Let me wrap up this thought.
Yeah.
The kids were left with a lack of choice. But it wasn't like we have to beat this as a group. It was like, oh, this is the situation we're in. We better just use all these heroes around us to survive. And they didn't even get along necessarily. Like the guy who caused like the hallway to like expand, and then he was like, "Can you shrink this back down?" And he's like,
No,
"What do you
Crusher,
take me
you
for?
want me to uncrush?"
You want me to uncrush?" Yeah.
I guess that was another issue. Is that all
It's
the
like,
all
oh.
the secondary superheroes' powers were kind of lackluster.
I like the Portal Girl. That was kind of fun. Look, they were just
Right,
like, they
but
were,
now
it was
traveling's
they,
never an
but they were
issue.
openly B-list heroes. They weren't like
Brick.
they weren't like they weren't like being promoted as these like high class superheroes because they're not from the Golden Age of superheroes, and they never had the training or like the discipline from the Golden Age of superheroes because they weren't allowed to use their powers.
Which means if you're looking for super cool superheroes, this is not the place.
Well, you got to get to the point where you can have the new age of super cool superheroes.
Like Brick, and you want me to uncrush?
An owl,
Oh,
who was actually a genuinely terrifying thing.
right? I'm like,
That guy scared me a little bit.
yeah. Especially
Evelyn-
when they got the goggles on him. That was
Right, Evelyn Dever, and like the threat wasn't even beat like collectively. Like they turned the ship, they almost destroyed the coastline, and it took Elastigirl going up after Evelyn alone for it to ultimately like conclude. So it really wasn't the same like conclusion as the first one.
I disagree.
They weren't forced to move anywhere, like because after the first one they had to move away and like go back
Is
undercover.
that a plot line you're going to stand on the hilltop about? They didn't have to move at the end of the movie?
Well, no, but that was based on the fact that they still had to hide at the end of the first movie. They weren't like accepted. The second one brought the whole first movie to its conclusion.
I still say it was a disappointment for me.
I think
but
it
I'll
was a
respect
great
your opinion
movie.
on there. Last question before we sign off. Why is there a sticker on your desk that says anus?
Unus Annus?
Yeah, anus.
Unus Annus, that's 2 N's. Do you know how to spell?
Yes.
Unus Annus is Latin.
Doesn't mean it doesn't say anus.
It says honest. And I can't even really explain it to you because the channel doesn't exist anymore. It was from a YouTube channel that it was like the thing was they uploaded one video every day for a year and then deleted all of it as like a social commentary experiment kind of thing where they just did whatever they wanted every day for a year and then uploaded it and
Sounds
then
like a real anus.
Do you have anything else to send everybody off with?
No, I definitely want to end it on that.
You heard it here first. CJ wants to finish on the anus.